to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and coming soon, our Grandstand sub-office. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, your financial security is guaranteed.
Defensive shot by Rohit Sharma. So at the end of the over, his 17th for Warwick, he has none for 41, and India are 159 without loss here at Windsor Park.
And Joshua hasn't given no indication that he was going to try and hit over the top. Seen him batting yesterday, he hasn't indicated that he would try and loft over the top. So, as you said, there's no need to have the dip long on. Bring him into Medan and let him try and go over the top. Look to get a wicket.
Exactly, and you know, if I was Warwick, and I mean, he's not really being hit around. I just wouldn't want to be. I mean, unless he wants to bowl to Rohit to get Jaiswal off strike, then I could understand. Yeah, just give him a single if he wants to focus on Rohit. But I don't think they're in that position of luxury really, and they should just be building pressure by not giving away runs. Here's Holder beginning a new over. He's round the wicket and Jaiswal is driving and he's not running, so that means it's gone away for 4. Down to backward point. And so Jaiswal moves on to 74. Yeah, it was nicely timed behind backward point and raced away to the boundary for 4.
We've seen more urgency after lunch, and we've seen both batsmen are playing a few more shots.
Yeah, indeed. Well, they're probably also thinking the fact that Cornwall's not on probably is factored into their thinking. While he's not there, let's try and make some runs, because he was looking the most threatening. Here's Holder, holding to Jaiswal. Can only find Chanderpaul at cover, and there's no run.
We hope our producer can try and find out what is wrong with Cornwall, because we haven't seen him since lunch. He went off yesterday, he went off before as well. And it's a problem for the West Indies, because when you go off, unless an external injury, you have to stay the same amount of time you were off the field before you could bowl. And he's the main spinner, and he's not on the field. We haven't seen him since lunch.
Here's Jason Holder. Tall right arm bowler, and Jaiswal's defensively forward, and there's no run. You know, I just think I don't like that rule.
Well, this rule.
If he's genuinely injured or going for treatment, let's say, why should they be punished for that?
Well, that's the rule. That's the rule.
Well, I know it's the rule. I just think I don't like the rule.
That's the rule. He has to stay, if he's off for an hour and a half, he has to stay an hour and a half before he can bowl.
Here comes Holder, bowling to Jaiswal. He's defensively forward, no run, ball on the line of the stumps. Yeah, it just seems to me a bit unfair. I mean, I know players take liberties as well. You know, they just go off for a rest, and you know, so I kind of understand that. Or like a batsman who retires hurt, they get hit on the head or something, and then they have to wait.
No, with an injury like that, you can bat anytime, even if you're off the field. If you're off the field, you can bat. If there's a hit on the head or something.
Holder once more. It's true. Yeah, it's a good point. Look, if you have to go for an X-ray or something, you can go in next. Yeah. That's right.
And if you're off the field and you have to bat in second inning, you can bat in the normal position.
Yeah, that's true. So it's now Holder's changing his line. Holder's changing his line, and he's bowling over the wicket this time to Jaiswal, who cuts beautifully once more behind backward point, races out to the boundary in front of the tea advertising hoarding there, and 4 further runs. So as you said, Cebu, there's a lot of intent here after lunch, as that's the end of the over.
And there's more urgency, Andrew, since lunchtime. We've seen what? Four boundaries since lunch, and both batsmen are prepared to really attack the bowling. So obviously India, like we said, probably don't intend being here on Sunday, or maybe even Saturday as well, Andrew.
Right, so we're going to see a bowling change here at the Botanical Gardens end. It's going to be Joseph, who surprisingly hasn't bowled at all today yet. I don't think. I don't believe he has. Double check that. No, he hasn't. This will be his. Oh, sorry, he's bowled 3 overs today. 3 overs today. He's going for a few runs though, Joseph. He's had an economy rate of 5.25. 42 runs off his 8 overs so far. A little bit expensive.
I don't think he's enjoying that surface, Andrew. He would have rather if there was more bounce and a little more grass on the pitch.
Well, we can see the plan here, Cebu. West Indies have got 4 men on the boundary, on the leg side, starting from mid-wicket to fine leg.
Well, Andrew, that field suggests we're going to see a lot of short pitch bowling now. Because if you notice, there's a deep point, deep third man, deep square leg, deep fine leg, deep mid-wicket. So we're in for some chin music now, as they call it. So we expect a few short deliveries.
Here comes Joseph round the wicket to Rohit. That one's short of a length, but down the leg side, and Rohit lets it go through to Silva.
And I'll be very surprised if Rohit falls into the trap. We know he's a guy who likes to take the short ball on, but with him being on 73, I think he's only going to probably push the ball and get a single on the onside. I don't think he will take the chance to try and hook at the short ball.
So just looking at this field here, we've got four men on the boundary behind square, 2 on the leg side, 2 on the offside. Here is Holder to Rohit, and he looks to pull but doesn't time it at all. Almost played it a bit like a tennis shot back to Joseph. I think I said Holder a minute ago, I meant Joseph. And there's no run. Just having a look at the replay of that ball. He went to pull it, but he got it right on the toe of the bat, actually. So, I don't think Rohit's going to be too worried, but as we've seen, he's a very good player of the pull shot. Hits the ball into the ground. Here's Joseph, and this time Rohit tries to pull it, and it runs past first slip. I think he's just got a fine edge on that, and it was picked up at deep third man by Alec Azane. So we see the replay. Yeah, very fine nick between the keeper and first slip. So now Jaiswal comes on strike. Let's see what sort of field Craig Brathwaite's going to set for him. So still the 1 slip, which is Jermaine Blackwood. We've got Reefer at a sort of a deep leg gully. Leg gully you would say Reefer is. Alec Azanave at fine leg. We've got 2 men out on the leg side. Here is Joseph. It's a short ball which Jaiswal ducks underneath it through the keeper and no run. And the leg side field's an interesting one. You've got 2 guys not actually on the boundary. We've got Akeem Jordan, the substitute, probably 3/4 of the way back to the boundary, and then Chandapur about 10 metres in from the boundary at square leg. just don't understand this field, Seb. We've got a deep point, deep backward point, and two men on the leg side deep. I mean, it's like they're having a bet each way on the horses. Here comes Joseph. And it's another short ball which Jaiswal ducks under very comfortably, and there's no run.
Well, obviously, Jaiswal knows the plan. He knows that they're going to be testing the short ball. He's not going to probably take the bet and probably just allow them to go to the keeper.
Here's Joseph once more. It's another short ball, and Jaiswal sways out of the way of it. So just one run off that over from Joseph. India 168 without loss here at Windsor Park.
And Andrew, if this hit, I don't know how many overs and Azari Joseph will be able to bowl if that pace bowling on the short ball, because it does take something from you bowling the short ball on a piece like that. So maybe it might be a short spell, 3-4 overs. Let us see if we can get a wicket by bowling short pitch balls at both batsmen.
Have we got a microphone right next to these drums somewhere?
Yeah, we can hear it right in our ear.
Definitely a good atmosphere here. So the umpires have got the dreaded rings out, inspecting the shape of the ball. So it looks like the ball's going to be replaced here. You know what I always find funny, Sidhu, is whether I saw it on TV the other day. It must have been in the Ashes, I guess. And England had just taken a wicket. Like the previous ball, they'd taken a wicket. Then they said the ball's out of shape. Let's change it. I'm like, why would you do that? It worked.
Well, the umpires, if they have, there's this little thing they use, and if the ball cannot go through it, then you have to change it. We need to find out what's wrong with Rakim Cornwall, Andrew. No signs of him. If you look towards the pavilion, no signs of him. And he's been off the field for a while now.
Just sending the West Indies media man a message to see if we can. Right, so after that little break in play, I'm just going to hand over to Andy Carter, who will take you through the next passage of play. So welcome back, Andy.
Yeah, well, I think Andy had a good lunch. He was snoozing at the back since lunchtime. I think he's refreshed and he's ready to go, unlike some of the West Indian bowlers who look like they're a bit tired, Andy. I mean, 62 overs, not having gotten any wickets. You see Cornwall off the field. The West Indies trying to ploy now of bowling short pitch deliveries at the batsmen, hoping they can pick up a wicket. Warwick has now moved again back to the northern end, so skipper Craig Bradford is trying everything to see if he can pick up a wicket or two. As I welcome back Andy.
Thank you very much, Lockhart. We see Warwick was the first delivery there to Sharma. Sharma plays in front of him and there is no run. So overnight, India 80 without loss. Rohit Sharma was on 30 and Jaiswal was on 40, and there was a ball there getting the outside edge of the bat, but just dropping in front of the slip fieldsman. Watch it on the monitor. Ball getting the edge and falling short there of Blackwood. So it's not a catch by any means. And we'll get to the starts after this delivery, goes back, plays it to squarish cover, and he can score. So overnight 80 for 6, Jaiswal 40, and Rohit Sharma 30. They went to lunch without losing a wicket. 146 without loss at lunch with Jaiswal on 62 and Rohit Sharma on 68. Since lunch they have moved on to 168 as Warrican bows to Sharma, plays to Silly mid-off, and there is no run. So they've added runs rather quickly after the luncheon interval. 22 runs have been added so far after lunch as Warrican draws the batsman Sharma forward, opens the face of the bat, guides the ball down to the backward point region and gets another run. So easy, comfortable going for the Indians. They lead now by 19 runs, 169 without loss. And it's bright, sunny afternoon here at Windsor Park. Sak is banned there, but not playing with the sort of tempo that they had yesterday.
Lacking energy. Deflated they are.
Indeed, indeed. Jaiswal 50, came off 104 balls. He struck 7 fours. Rohit on the other hand, 50 of 106 balls, 4 fours and 2 sixes. Here is Warrican, draws the batsman forward. Jaiswal plays it to short leg, and there is no run. The over comes to an end. The end of over number 63. Rohit Sharma is on 75. Jaiswal 8. India 169 without loss, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Well, and
Through mentorship and guidance, let us provide support to those who may feel lost or tempted by the wrong path. Remember, conflict resolution is key. Instead of resorting to violence, let us learn to communicate effectively, to listen, and to find common ground. Together, we can create a Grenada where our dreams can flourish and our talents can shine. This message was brought to you by the New National Party, your voice in shaping the future of Grenada.
sure they're not enjoying what's happening now. I mean, in fact, no Dominican really can be enjoyed, or no West Indian, in fact, can be enjoying that.
Here is Alzari Joseph from the Botanic Gardens ends. Bowls there to Rohit Sharma, plays it down to long leg. Roach is there, and they will just get a single. Moves Rohit to 76. Jaiswal is on 78, and India going on their merry way. 170 without loss.
Well, you're right. They are really merry way. In fact, since launch, I think they have speeded up. We have seen a few more strokes, and they're really enjoying themselves and the both batsmen.
Yes, and the West Indies searching, but can't find a way to dismiss any of these two batsmen. And I dare say it looks quite ominous for the West Indies team. Zari Joseph is into his 10th over, and he's an attacking bowler, so sometimes you see more runs scored off an attacking bowler, but he's their main wicket taker, and in the absence of Rakim Cornwall, they're searching for someone to make the breakthrough. Here is a short delivery. Jaiswal plays it down to the fieldsman there. Looks like Hoda. It's not normal to see Hoda fielding right down on the fine leg boundary. Usually you associate with Hoda with a slip position.
Correct, very correct.
So I was a bit wondering who was that person there, only to find out it's the tall figure of Hoda. And Alzari Joseph, there is Blackwood trying to spur on his bowler. It's there at call it a third or fourth slip, a huge gap between he and the wicket keeper. Here is Joseph from around the wicket, short rising delivery. Rohit thought of playing he's a compulsive hooker, and he thought of playing the shot, but it was definitely much too high
And I'm really surprised he's trying to take on the bowling with the field that's set. You have a deep long leg, deep square leg, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket on the boundary, and I'm very surprised that he's still trying to take on. As you said, he's a compulsive hooker.
Bright, sunny conditions. What a lovely day we have here for cricket. As Alzari Joseph bowls a short delivery, the batsman gets into his wicket, plays it down to long leg. Roach is positioned right there, fields well, and 1 run more to the Indian total, moves on to 172 without loss. They lead by 22 runs, and between the opening moments of this morning and lunch, 32 overs were bowled and only 66 runs, but importantly for India, not losing a wicket.
Yes, they're in a strong, and we cannot keep emphasizing that, and they're in a very strong position, the Indians.
Alzari Joseph once again runs in, bowls, well up delivery, drives, splendid shot, past the bowler. The fieldsman will get onto it. They run 1, they come back for 2, and they settle for 2. And a good shot there, firm shot, ball pitched up, and easy as you like, just easing into the ball and playing it delightfully for 2 runs.
And what will be very disappointing for depressing for the bowlers. The team is 170 without loss, and you think of the people to come. You have Shubman Gill, Kohli, you have Rahane, Ishan Kishan, Jadeja. It must be very depressing as a bowler. When you look at the score, 174 without loss, and you think of the people to come, and you having made 150, cannot be more depressing than that on the cut.
Most definitely. Joseph bows to Jaiswal, gets a wide delivery, trying to force the batsman into error. He allows it to go through to the wicketkeeper. The over comes to an end at the end of over number 64. India 174 without loss, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
In fact, if you look at the body language of the players, it doesn't look so good. Some of them you could see shoulders are drooping. They look like they're wondering where is the next wicket going to come from. How are we going to get this batsman out? The pitch is slow, the ball is turning, yes, but both of them look in total command. So
and to add to your point, Lockhart, to think of Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, and not even going down to Jadeja, because I think that they might send Jadeja up to up the tempo if really needed, if they really need to up the tempo. But certainly not a very good position to be in, and just the thought of who to come really is frightening.
And it doesn't look like they're not even close to getting a wicket. That's the problem. So you are wondering when is the next wicket go, or when are you going to get the first wicket?
Warrican begins his 19th over. Batsman is driving gloriously, square of the wicket. They'll run 1, they'll come back for 2. That's all they'll be. But in full control there, the batsman. And 2 more to Rohit Sharma. He moves on to 79. And the Indian total moves on to 176 without loss. Easy going for the Indians. Pitch not doing much. It never did much even yesterday. But the West Indian batsmen, they threw their hands away, and now they're feeling the scorching sun, and India not relenting, keeping on the pressure on them.
Yes, and as you said, a few batsmen gave away the wickets yesterday, a few reckless strokes.
Yes, the West Indians should still have been at the crease, occupying the crease today, and we would have seen a much larger crowd as Warrican draws Sharma forward, pleased to seal him off, and he can score.
And as we talk about the crowd, most people felt you'd have been getting a full house at the Windsor Park, but we haven't seen that at all.
Warrican, left arm orthodox, bowling around the wicket, bowls a flatter delivery. Sharma opens the face of the bat in full control, guides it down to third man and sets off a run. And the score has moved on to 177. 177 without loss. Sharma on 80, Jaiswal on 81. And these two, they're quite intent on making the West Indies pay. they want to get to their century.
Well, we don't want to use the word like Tony Gregg used years ago when he wanted to make West Indies grovel.
Here is Warwican. Batsman is driving, beats mid off, using his feet and driving elegantly, beats mid off, and another boundary there to Jaiswal.
And that could be the shot of the day. He used his feet and elegantly, as you said, drove that ball to the right of Jason Holder at mid off. A lovely stroke from this young 21-year-old boy from I think the Rajasthan Royals he played for in the IPL. Looking very good, this youngster.
On debut, we must remind you, and batting like a man who has played several tests before. Here is Warwican from over the wicket, draws him forward. Ball is played on the onside, and there is no run. The over comes to an end. End of over number 65. Jaiswal is 85, Rohit is 80, India 181 without loss, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, and this guy, he's made what, 6 900s already, 15 first-class matches. So getting 100 is something that comes easy to him. I mean, and the way he's batting, he looked like he could make a big score. I think his highest first-class score is 212 or something like that. So the way he's batting, we could see something like that again.
And we expect the Indians to accelerate their scoring. They started off slowly this morning, but they're in command now. They have a good lead of 31 runs on first innings. West Indies just managing to get 150 runs. And now India lead by 31 runs without having lost a wicket so far. So we're about to see Alzari Joseph from the Botanic Gardens end. Here he is. Just one slip. And Sharma is pulling this one down to backward square. And the fieldsman holds the ball. Looks like Rifa. And just one run. Rohit moves on to 81. So we see the second test begins on the 20th of July, 20th to 24th over the Queen's Park Oval. And then there are 3 ODIs, 2 in Barbados and 1 in Trinidad. Then we have a T20 in Trinidad and then 2 T20s in Guyana and the 2 final T20s on the 12th and 13th of August over in Florida. So a packed itinerary for the Indians, but the attention is here at Windsor Park. Alzari Joseph with one slip, extra cover, man at leg gully, mid wicket, mid on wideish, man at fine leg position and a man deep down on the square leg boundary. Here is Alzari. Goes a short delivery, the batsman is pulling this one and it goes down to the backward square leg boundary. 4 runs there to Jaiswal, and certainly Jaiswal and Sharma putting their foot on the accelerator now. 89 Jaiswal is of 200 balls. As I say, good afternoon to you once again, Heston Charles.
Good afternoon to you, Andy Carter, and good afternoon to the listeners of this broadcast. Certainly Jaiswal look very much settled, Andy, and they look very composed.
Composed indeed. As a batsman we've seen on television representing the Rajasthan Royals, and he has really put on a good show in the IPL. But it's Test cricket now, and he's looking to get his maiden Test century on debut.
Yes, I just had some good lunch and compliments my boy Kitchen.
Here is Alzari Joseph from the southern end. Has the batsman uncomfortable on this occasion, pounding this one in the turf, and you could see the discomfort there by Jaiswal, just fending it off his body, and luckily for him, there wasn't any player stationed there. He gets away with it. You could see the extra effort following him there, Alzari Joseph, and discomforted there by that delivery, but in the end he gets another run.
Yeah, Joseph is trying to, get that one to his body, and rightly so. He played it down, and he's playing safe, and our bowler's trying to intimidate batsmen there.
Well, they've got to get a way to make a breakthrough this afternoon. Bright, sunny conditions as Azari Joseph bows to Sharma. Sharma is getting a short delivery. He's playing it down backward of square. Reefer comes off the deep backward square leg boundary and sends in the return, but not before the batsman cross for a run. 82 to Rohit Sharma. Jaiswal is on 90 and the Indians 188 without loss. And you could see the ploy there by the West Indies trying to intimidate, as you quite rightly said, intimidate the Indians. But I don't think you can intimidate a veteran like Rohit Sharma.
Certainly not. And we're looking like we may have a record opening pair partnership at the Windsor Park, and with the Indian pair doing so well, Rohit Sharma and Jaswin. They certainly have settled themselves there, Andy.
Short rising delivery, and he steers it down to backward point. Chandapal comes across, picks up, and there is only one run. It's already the highest opening partnership in the West Indies by the Indians. This is the highest. So
we have record in the making there.
They have made a record already, and India have visited the West Indies several times, and this is the highest opening partnership by the Indian team ever.
Are you surprised that they have settled there so well, Andy?
Not really. There's no devil in the pitch, and you can see a delivery there from Alzari, pounding it into the turf, not getting much assistance, and you could hear as the over comes to an end of over 66, 189 without loss is the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Gittins Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. We supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings and nursery supplies, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs. We're serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call us on 409-2175 or 438-4337. Gittins Home and Garden Center, from your farm to your backyard.
Or Vivian Richards that he would have to insert the opposition because he knows that he would get some assistance from a pitch. But we get back to that. I'll get your comments as Warwick and Bo's delivery there. Jaiswal plays it back to the bowler and there is no run.
Well, I would be thinking that if the fact that West Indies won the toss, they should have sent India to bat.
Driving to the right of Holder at mid-off. They run 1, they'll come back for 2. That's all there'll be. And 2 more runs to Jaiswal. He moves into the 90s. He's on 93. And India now lead by 41 runs. But you could hear in the pre-match interview that Captain Craig Brathwaite felt that the wicket would take spin. So he was a bit skeptical about about batting last, as there is a delivery striking the batsman, stifled appeal from the players, but certainly more optimistic of getting a wicket, but he did not carry it on for too long.
But if you bat first, you need to have a plan, and to stay there throughout every session.
Most definitely, as he's driven there, Jaiswal, Root will come off the long on boundary, and Jaiswal will move ever so close to his 100. He's on 94. India moving closer to the 200.
Yeah, and both batsmen looking very close to the century, and we have Jaiswal on 94, and we have Rohit on 82 only.
So the 50 for India of 12.2 overs, the 100 of 32.2, the 150 of 57.2, and now they're approaching the 200 mark. Delivery draws the batsman across, plays it on the onside, the bowler picks up and they can score. So once again, Jaiswal has gone past Rohit. He's on 94, Jaiswal. It's Rohit who is on strike now. Right-handed batsman, waits for Warrican. Warrican bowls a flatter delivery. Plays it in the vacant backward square leg position. Blackwood gives chase. And they run one, they come back for two. And that's all they'll be. So Rohit gets two more. He's on 84. Jaswal is on 94. The end of over number 67. India 194 without loss, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
Gynecological Cancer and Prevention Clinic advises the general public that its office located in Main Street, Satires, will be open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The oncologist, Dr. Santos, now attends every Thursday by appointments only. The ophthalmologist or eye doctor attends every 15th of the month. Call us to book an appointment today on 423-3352 or 444-4272.
Yeah. You may well be batting last, because if India scores 400 runs and have you with a 250 lead, you may well be decide batting last.
Certainly.
So
are you saying that we may just have India batting one innings in this?
They most definitely would want to bat once. India with that kind of batting lineup, they wouldn't be looking to bat twice. We've got
is it the man with the golden hand?
Well, they've got to try something. He bowled one over, looked a good over before lunch, the last over before lunch, and only 2 runs came off it. And he was flighting the ball, getting the batsmen to use their feet. So here he comes, a flatter delivery, and he's cutting, edging, the ball flying over the man there at slip. But certainly creating that sort of opportunity there. Ali Kafana's delivery outside the off stump, flashing blade from Jaiswal, flying over the fieldsman, looks like Hakim Jordan there at slip, and the batsman crossed for 2. But certainly something created there by Afanas.
Yes, something created, yes, certainly.
Here he is again, outside the off stump. This one is pleasantly driven straight to Chandapal at the deep cover boundary, and Jaiswal moves on by 1 to 97. So he is moving together with the Indian total as they approach the 200. Jaiswal is approaching his 100. India lead by 47 runs. And Craig Brathwaite, the captain, in the absence of Cornwall, has decided to use the homeboy Ali Kafanas, and that brought the crowd to life.
Yes.
Floats this one, he turns, finds the substitute fielder, Hakim Jordan, who is at leg slip, and there is no run.
Yes, as I indicated earlier, India is in cruise control, and bringing in Afanas may just cause something to happen.
Afanas right arm off spin, bowls, the batsman Sharma works it down to the man coming off the deep mid-wicket boundary, Chandapal, and he gets another run. Sharma moves on to 85. Jaswal is on 97, and India now 198 without loss, a lead of 48 runs on first innings.
Yes, certainly well put together lead by India, surpassing WestIndies' first innings of 150.
Afanas from around the wicket pose a delivery wide of the off stump, trying to tease and tempt the batsman Jaswal, and maybe thinking that he is approaching his 100, he may play a rash shot. But on this occasion, he kept his cool. He's driving through the cover region. Chandapal will move across to his left, and the batsman will cross for another run. Jaswal moves on to 98, and India 199 without loss as the 68th over has come to an end. 199 without loss, India, and that's the latest score here at Windsor Park.
199 without loss. This opening pair, Andy, would have gone through at least 4 sessions, and they are still there to this point. And to those of you listening to the cricket, I mean, West Indies won the toss yesterday, elected to bat, and they were bowled out for 150. And here we see India putting on an exhibition, if I should say, as to what is required. I mean, this ground there at the Windsor Park has always produced runs, and there was no need for West Indies to just throw. We had some reckless shots being played yesterday. Many of the batsmen went out very cheaply, and hence we see West Indies facing what they call a tall order. As I indicated, it's a long journey in the tunnel. And here we have joining us in the commentary booth. I should say right now he's slowly becoming part of us here in Dominica. Just 2 days and he seems like a citizen.
Very kind of you,
Mr. Andrew, it's good to have you.
Yeah, very kind of you, Heston, and you've just triggered my memory that you were very kind to organise me some accommodation at the Sutton Place Hotel, and I have to say that they've been absolutely fantastic. I know they've given me a script here that I should read, but I'll just summarise it in my own words.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's right in the centre of town, just on the corner of Bow Lane. It's about a 5-minute walk to the ground. Nice, comfortable rooms. Nice, there's a good desk, really nice bed, TV with all the channels. But what I really liked was the small touches. Like left me a lot of things for breakfast, and way more than I would normally get, even at. Well, I don't stay at 5-star hotels, but those sorts of places they want to sell you stuff, whereas these guys make you feel really at home. And yeah, so very happy with the Sutton Place Hotel. Highly recommend it to anyone that needs to who wants to spend their time in the capital in Rousseau. And yeah, I think that the rooms are very stylishly furnished. The ambience is great, and the warm hospitality is just fantastic. So very, very helpful. So yeah, thank you for organising that for me as well.
Yes, indeed, my pleasure, Mr. Andrew. I want to say good afternoon to the manager of Sutton Place, Mr. Christoph, offering us this very kind courtesy. Here you could enjoy yourself in the lovely ambience of Sutton Place Hotel, right in the city, and it's just about, say, like you say, for you look like an avid walker, so probably a 10 minutes walk from Sutton Place to the stadium. So Sutton Place is right in the city. You have most of the shopping facilities, the grocery stores, right around the area of Sutton Place. So you don't have far to go.
And the other crucial thing is that you can walk just a couple of minutes when you're on the waterfront. So if you're taking a ferry to Guadeloupe or St. Lucia or somewhere, not a problem. So that's we're just coming to the end of the drinks break here. We've got the unusual sight of one of the Indians non-playing squad walking along with an umbrella. I can assure our listeners it's not raining here in Dominica. I think it's just more the Indian batsmen wanting to have a bit of shade during the drinks break. And wow, look at the
It may be raining, Andrew. It may be raining runs. India. But anyway.
Well, the other thing too, of course, is we've got 2 milestones coming up here.
Yeah.
We've got Jaiswal on 98, but they're 1 run short of a 200 partnership. And if you wanted to impress your captain in your very first match, getting a 200-run partnership is not a bad way to do it.
Certainly, Jaiswal, I was reading up on his stats, and in an under-19 match against South Africa, he scored 197. So this man certainly has been showing a lot of promise, and here he is at the Windsor Park Stadium, looking very mature, and he's getting good advice from the moment experienced Rohit, and they have been there together for more than 4 sessions, almost 4 sessions going now, and they have a 199 partnership with just needing 1 run to have 200 partnership.
Well, of course, he's doing no damage to his first-class average either, which is 80 before this match.
There you go.
So his first-class average is going up as well. So starting up from the river end after lunch, it's going to be Kemar Roach, who's bowled tidily so far without really looking threatening. He's bowled the 8 overs, 1 made and none for 15. So He's got a slip, a deep point, a extra cover, a short extra, or a deep cover, an short extra cover, and a mid-off on the offside as he comes in now. Joseph, angled run, and that ball angles down the leg side, taken by Joshua De Silva, and there's no run.
Yeah, some persons will not want to be in a hot sun, and Andrew, the sun has been hot. I mean, unbearably for some persons, you know, and the few WestIndies have to be out there fielding at this point in time. I know it's not easy.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those days where at the tea break, they don't go to the tea room, they go straight for a cold shower.
Yes.
Here's Roach once again, bowling to Jicewell, who's watchfully forward, and there's no run. So just describing the rest of the field for our listeners, we've got a long leg, but a deep square leg, mid-wicket and mid-off. Of course that's, we've got substitute fielders on as well, so just to make things interesting. We've got Akeem Jordan on in the place of Rakeem Cornwell. Here is Roach, so a good line, right on the line of off stump, defended by Jicewell, who's really not looked in any trouble whatsoever today, although Athenaeus got him to edge one just an over or so ago and flew over second slip's head, or between first and second slip, but well over their heads. It's probably about the only false shot he's played in this whole entire innings, which is up to 213 balls now. Here's Roach. It's a full-length delivery to Jicewell. He works it off his legs, but there's only going to be one run. As
It's just closer to the century, yeah.
What's that, sorry?
It's closer to the century, 99.
Yeah, so he moves to 99, and that takes his partnership with his skipper to 200, so very, very impressive. So they've surpassed the West Indies score of 150 and then raised them an extra 50.
They're looking very composed, as I indicated earlier. It's like should I say a walk in the park? I don't want to say it, but it appears so, because these guys are very comfortable, they're unfazed, and they're just going about it without being threatened by the bowling.
Here's Roach over the wicket this time to Rohit. That's wide outside off stump. It's left alone through to De Silva. So they've still got one slip here. Jermaine Blackwood, he's at first slip. But otherwise a very defensive field.
Yeah, did you ever play cricket, Andrew? Because Andrew Carter played cricket, and I think he's still playing.
Well, if you were a betting man, would the answer be yes or no?
I think yes.
Yeah. Here's here's Roach, and Sharma chases that one, gets a very thick outside edge, but no danger of being dismissed, and it races down to the boundary for 4. So that's the end of the over. Sharma moves on to 89. India 204 without loss here at Windsor Park. Yeah, I mean, I can't really imagine there being any cricket commentator that hasn't played cricket in some capacity.
Somewhere or the
What
other.
about Tony Cozier? How much cricket did he play?
I don't know much of it. I don't know if he ever played. Did he play? I'm not sure. I don't have any record of Tony Cozier.
But I get the feeling what you're saying, Heston, is not can you hold a bat and bowl a ball. Did I play at any sort of level?
Yeah.
I think that's your question.
Yeah.
The answer's no.
No. Oh, I see. But you can hold a bat.
I tell you what, though, I have done. I've played at Lord's
Oh, here you go.
in a corporate match.
So you have played the game.
Well, you could say that, but I don't really want to tell you what happened when I played there.
Why
I think
not?
I got more obsessed with walking down the steps and through the long room, and then kind of forgot that I was actually supposed to bat. So, yeah, I actually ran myself out off the first ball I faced for a 0.
You run yourself out.
Yeah, I called for a run, I got sent back, got run out. So it's going to be Athenaeus, their off-break bowler, right arm round the wickets. And here it is, it's 100. It's 100 for Jicewell, and look at the celebration. Man's worked so hard to get to this position. raises his arms in the air, salutes his teammates, bows his head. He's only 21 years of age, and he's done it, and he's got to run all the way back now because Rohit's still waiting on the pitch, and he comes down and Rohit gives him a big hug. Of course, both from Mumbai, and Jaiswal, what delight. So 100 not out, maiden test century on debut, and it was a little dab, a little paddle round the corner. He just took off down the wickets, jumped in the air, took his helmet off, and he's got Dream 11 written on his shirt. I think he's probably going to be dreaming at the moment.
Yes, he is dreaming. You know, young man, 21 years on his debut, scoring 100 runs in his first test match. That is the dream of any young player.
Yeah, incredible. He used to sleep in a tent on Oval Maiden, which is this massive ground with loads of pitches in Mumbai. Here is Rohit working the one off his pads. Down to Roach at long leg. That's one further run. Yeah, amazing story. He moved to Mumbai when he was 11.
Wow.
So 10 years of really hard graft. So the last time an Indian batsman scored 100 on debut was Sarish Iyer. That was against my country, New Zealand, in Kanpur in 2001. Here's Athanase round the wicket to Jaiswal, and he punches it off the back foot down to long off. It's picked up there by Joseph, I think that is down there.
Yeah.
And one further run to the total. One further run to Jaiswal. So yeah, remarkable story. And you know, you can't be exactly sure what you read online, whether it's accurate all the time, but it was confirmed by our colleague from the television, Raunak Kapoor, that he did sleep in a tent at times.
Wow.
Here's Rohit working Athanase off his pads, down to Roach for one, takes Rohit on to 91. And he was actually selling street food as well to sustain himself. You know,
Interesting upbringing.
Yeah.
Humble, very humble upbringing. I guess that's what contributes to who he is today. Understands the tough life in the hot sun, and he can stay there and score 100 runs.
Wow, that's what he's probably been doing day in and day out since he was 11 years old on Oval Maiden. Here's Jaiswal, this time cutting one from Athanase. Warrican's out there with the dreadlocks hanging out of the back of his hat. Returns it to the keeper, and there's one further run to Jaiswal.
And the way it's going, Andrew, if he continue this way, they may just name him the Wall, Jaiswal, the Wall, because the bowlers can't penetrate his defense at this point. He looks very composed. He looks, and with the experience of Rohit, you can see Rohit has been guiding him. So he has the required environment to take him to where he wants to go.
Here's Athanase. This time Rohit just works it away to leg slip. That's the end of the over. Athanase now has bowled 3 overs, none for 12. India 209 without loss here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, excellent going by India. Cruise control. They have made good use of this batting pitch. I can tell you the reputation of this pitch, Andrew. I mean, for over the years, this pitch has been proven to be a batting paradise. I was a bit surprised that WestIndies chose to bat first, because generally on the first day is when you get more assistance. On the first day, a little bit of moisture in the pitch, so you get a little assistance for the bowling. But WestIndies right now are facing a very high mountain. Dominica is filled with mountains, and they're facing a very high mountain. Mount Jablote, we call it, or highest mountain, Andrew.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe more something like Everest, given that we're playing India, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard slog for them for sure. Here's Roach coming around the wicket to Jaiswal, and he's playing that off the back foot up to Reefer at mid-on, and there's no run. Yeah, it's it's a hard slog for sure, and you can just see it in the West Indies body language as well, can't you? There's no one clapping, there's no one cheering them on.
Nobody has.
There's no encouragement.
Nothing. They're deflated. They're dejected, and they tried early on to allow Rui to get to hit, but he never fell to the trap.
This next one from Roach is a fuller ball on the line of the stumps. It's dug out by Jaiswal. Played out to cover, and there's no run.
So they tried to make him hit the hook shot. They sort of set a trap for him to hit the hook shot, but he never fell prey to that.
But also what you were saying about the pitch, I mean, I think Brathwaite would have looked at it and just said, look, this pitch has got nothing in it, so there's no point to bowl. Here's Roach. Bowling to, it's a crowd catch there. Jaiswal hitting the ball into the ground, straight to Athanaze at cover. Crowd erupts, thinking there's a catch.
Spectators catch.
But yeah, I mean, you couldn't bowl first on that wicket. There was not. I mean, maybe there might have been some rain, but the pitch looked to be pretty well covered, So. Here's Roach again, bowling to Jaiswal. He's driving this time behind point. There's a big chase around. Will it be cut off? Yes, it is. Well done by Chanderpaul out there. Cuts it off and restricts the scoring to 2. So that's the sort of thing that will lift your team a little bit. In fact, that was Blackwood, sorry. Blackwood cut that one off, showing great pace and great commitment. He could have easily just let it run for 4, but he did well and just restricted the scoring to 2. So, well done.
He covered a lot of ground.
He did.
Andrew.
It's quite quick.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, they've just been called by the third umpire. Blackwood may have touched the boundary line.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation. You think he may have touched it or after or before?
Yeah, I think it's just after. No, it's 4. Oh, that's so unlucky.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be given. Yeah, it's given 4.
Yeah.
Right.
In the local palace, they'll say he burst my bubble.
You were on air earlier when Sharma hit that one that hit directly onto the little. We used to call it a boundary rope, but they're kind of like boundary rubber now, isn't it? Here's Roach bowling to Jaiswal. He's driving up to mid on where Reefer does the fielding, and there's no run.
Yeah. Much to the disappointment of the spectators on WestIndies, is a boundary.
Yeah. And the bowler, of course, who gets a boundary against his name. So here's Roach. And Jaiswal is driving once more, timing it beautifully, but straight to Brathwaite at mid-off. That's the end of the 71st over of the innings. It's 213 without loss. India here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, Roach being, I should say, a very brave soul there. He has been around for quite a long time. And I think he's about 35 or 36. Roach.
Right, yeah, 36.
Yeah, so we could call him a veteran at this point in time in his career. And he has to be the one to try to lift the spirit up for West Indies at this time, because the bowlers are not troubling India at all. No.
Oh, sorry, you mean Roach?
Yeah, Kima Roach, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's about 35 years old.
Yeah, 35.
About that. So we can call him a veteran, I mean, because he has been there for more than 10 years and counting, playing for the West Indies. And
I just feel sorry for him, though, getting to bowl on such a dead pitch, you know. I mean, we don't have a speed ball radar on the television monitors. We can't see how fast he's bowling, but he just hasn't looked threatening at all. Actually, well, not
he's
really
not
any
getting
of them have.
any help. He's not getting any help in the pitch.
Here's Athanaze starting a new over, bowling round the wicket to Rohit. He's watchfully forward, plays it to short leg where Chanda pulls under the helmet, and there's no run.
Yeah, no runs at all. And they're like in the living room. When you sit in your living room, Andrew, India is sitting in the living room now.
As Rohit picks up another single to square leg. Takes him on to 92, so another milestone coming up here in this CG United. Well, that's the broadcast name on the broadcast. Seems to be multiple sponsors around the ground. I'm never quite sure who's sponsoring what. Here's Athenaeus bowling to Jaiswal. He drives that one out to the extra cover area where Warwican runs around the boundary, picks it up, and one further run to Jaiswal. That takes him on to 107.
107. I would have loved to see the Fiesman chain on Athenaeus. It's his debut, it's his first match. Chain on. You can feel encouraged.
Here is Athenaeus. And Rohit's working this one off his pads. Out to that man again. The dreadlocked poet. Warwican.
Yes.
And one further run to Rohit. Moves on to 93. And thank you very much, Heston, for your comments. So we've just about to be joined by Darren Ganga, who's one of West Indies' famous cricketers, of course, and now a TV presenter. Welcome, Darren. Welcome into our broadcast here on the Cut and Drive network as Athenaeus sweeps us. Warwican's Jaiswal sweeps this time to that delivery from Athenaeus, and he takes an extra run, and that takes him through to 108.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to all your listeners, those in this part of the world. I know it might be early morning in other parts of the world, but clearly this test match heading in one direction. India in full control thus far. Opening partnership of 217 built on the backdrop of solid test match batting from Sharma and Jaiswal.
Here is Sharma, and he's punching that one up to mid-off. It's fielded up there by Joseph. Holder, in fact, that is. And there's no run. That's the end of the over. It's 217 without loss here at Windsor Park. Yeah, so Darren, I mean, as a opening bat yourself, what have you made of this rather impressive debut by Jaiswal?
To be fair, he's dominated the lower tiers in cricket at the domestic level in India. He's walked into this test match after having played 16 first-class matches with 9 first-class hundreds behind his name. So that in itself gives us an inkling that he has a great appetite for run scoring. He's also dominated in the recent IPL, 5th on the list of leading run scorers in this recent season, just completed. So it's not only in the longest format of the game he's dominated, he's even dominated in 50-over cricket. So I think he's shown that he's got all the credentials to play test match cricket. And in his very first test match, he's shown that inclination to adjust, to adapt to conditions which are a little bit slower, very helpful for spinners. And his concentration powers, I expected to see him be a little more aggressive in his approach, but all credit to him. The way he's tempered that aggression, it's been really special to look at.
Yeah, hard to remember a false shot. I think the one off Athenaeus a couple of overs ago, you could argue was an edge, although it flew well over the keeper's head, or the slip's head. But yeah, I can't really remember him playing a false stroke.
There was one particular over that Rakeem Cornwall bowled to Jaiswal, Cornwall bowling from the Billy Doctrove end, where Jaiswal just looked a little bit frustrated. The ball spun past his outside edge. On a couple of occasions, he attempted the conventional sweep, didn't quite get hold of it, but then there was a discussion with Rohit Sharma and himself just to keep his composure. And that's the other good thing I've recognized about him. He's not full of himself. He doesn't have a very big ego. He's coachable, because you can see Rohit Sharma communicating with him throughout the course of this partnership.
We've just had a bit of a delay there with the ball being changed as Roach begins a new over from the river end, going round the wicket to Jaiswal. It's a short of a length delivery, but beautifully controlled. He plays the pull shot right into the ground, out to Warwican at square leg, or deep square leg. And a further run to Jaiswal, he moves on to 109.
The other thing that I like to recognize about this innings, he's the first Indian player to score a Test match 100 on debut in the Caribbean. No one else has done that previously. So that to me is the sign of a player who is able to jump out of his comfort zone and produce his best. We haven't seen a lot of that from Indian batters over the years. Only the fourth person to score that maiden century on debut outside of India, out of 17.
Wow, that is quite something. So here is Roach over the wicket to the right-handed Rohit, and as we've seen so many times, he handles the short ball so well, just taps it around the corner from in front of his face down to a long leg for a single. And just on that, Darren, I mean, there was one guy that potentially could have done it by the name of Virat Kohli.
Yeah, he could. I think he scored his first Test match century in the Caribbean. It wasn't on debut.
No.
But he is a class act. We've seen over the years his domination in Test match cricket and across formats. So he's yet to come.
Here's Roach. This is a wide one to Jaiswal, which he chases. It's picked up there at cover by Akeem Jordan, the substitute fieldsman. And one further run to Jaiswal. He moves on to 110.
Look, I feel, you know, for the West Indian bowlers, Kemar Roach, of course, operating now, and in that first session, I just felt that when they opened with Roach and Jason Holder, they were a little too defensive in my estimation. There was need for them to attack early at the start of day two. And when you give quality batters like Rohit Sharma, like Yashasvi Jaiswal, the opportunity to get in makes the job even more difficult.
Here is Roach, and Roach's defending. Yeah, I was on commentary at the time. I made the observation that first over by Jason Holder today, it was just like welcome back to the crease.
And get your eyes in.
Just take your time. You don't have to play for the first 6 balls. And I agree, Darren. Like, you know, I think in the second over he might have come around the wicket, but it was just too easy. Here's Roach once more, and Rohit's, as he's done throughout this innings, he plays each ball on its merit, and he's on 94, 6 runs short of another Test century, and you wouldn't be betting against him doing that right now. He's looking incredibly solid, and yeah, he's got 9 Test hundreds, highest score of 212. But yeah, I just thought exactly the same. I couldn't understand. Come back to that. Here's Roach, and Rohit's down the ground, over the top of the bowler's head, down the wicket, hitting down the ground for 4, and that takes him on to 98.
Yeah, a little too predictable there. The line a little too straight as we see the end of the 73rd over. The line, of course, quite straight from Kemar Roach, and a little too full on that occasion. Very little lateral movement at this stage with a 73 over old ball. So it makes for light work for a guy of Rohit's quality. He moves to 98. You did mention his 9 previous Test match centuries. Only one scored outside of India, and that was at the Oval against England. So I did speak previously about Rohit Sharma and his slightly weaker record playing away from India. He averages about 61 playing Test match cricket in India, and only about 31 outside of India. So this will surely help strengthen that away record for him as a batter. He's a class act.
Yeah, he is indeed. But yeah, I just thought this morning they could have opened with Joseph and perhaps even Cornwall. Anyway, that's been and gone now. Here is Athanase bowling to Jaiswal, and he just plays that one away to Roach at point, and there's no run.
More of a balanced field with Athanase operating, 4 fielders offside.
Here is Athanase, and Jaiswal's identical shot, cutting that one away to Roach at backward point, and there's no run.
Yeah, and I mentioned those 4 fielders offside. That's in the extra cover to cover region. There is a slip and a long off as well.
Here's another shortish ball. It's cut by Jaiswal, but he finds Roach once more, and there's no run. So Jaiswal's on strike while his captain's on 98 at the other end. And this time he's defending the fourth ball of the over from Athanase.
Must also mention that the line of attack has changed with the spinners. Initially, they were bowling very straight to Jaiswal, attempting him to hit a leg side, now offside.
There's Jaiswal, and this time he picks out cover. Stopped there by Reefer, and there's no run. Here's Athanase. And this time Jaiswal's cutting once again to backward point, and there's no run, and that's the end of the over. It's 224 without loss here at Windsor Park.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
Hasn't bowled a lot at this level. He's got 3 wickets in tests, but his first class record isn't bad actually. He's got 193 wickets at 26, so 7 5-wicket bags. So, but I just want to go back to that point you were talking about Rohit, because as let's say a very, very, very amateur cricketer, I can't understand something. So here's Reefer, with Joshua De Silva standing up to the stumps, left arm over the wicket, it's defended. How is it that Rohit can score all his runs in India, where it turns more, it's a difficult place to bat, right? So how is it that he can be so good there? I mean, obviously he's from there, but it just, to me, it seems, really crazy that he's so dominant, on those wickets. Here's Reefer bowling to Rohit, and there's no run.
Well, what I can say to that point is we're all creatures of habit, and we're shaped by our environment as well. Rohit Sharma hails from Mumbai. He's grown up playing a lot of cricket in Indian conditions, and he's adjusted and adapted his game to suit those conditions. India, as a test-playing nation, plays a lot of cricket in India as well, and to his credit, he's been able to dominate playing at home.
Here's Reefer, left arm over the wicket to Rohit, and he's beaten outside the line of off stump, taken by Joshua De Silva, but no edge. Yeah, but I suppose the other thing I was thinking about is it because he's played there so much and played against the spinners, when opposition spinners come to India, maybe they're not used to bowling there so much, so he has a bit of an advantage over them.
Yeah, quite frankly, that could be one of the reasons, but he also started playing a lot of test cricket quite late in his career.
Here he is again, Rohit, defending. Yeah, he's only played 50 tests.
Yes, prior to this one, and again, a lot of questions were asked about his omission from this Indian test side early in his career. We had MS Dhoni, who took over the captaincy from Rahul Dravid, and then there was Virat Kohli before Rohit Sharma took over as captain of this Indian test side.
Here is Reefer once more, bowling to Sharma, and he's on 98, but once again, waiting for the ball to put away. That one he just guides to mid-wicket, and there's no run.
Yeah, and I also think as a captain, he will have a point to prove. Of course, India playing the World Test Championship final for the second time against Australia. wasn't able to lift the trophy, and there's been a lot of debate around Rohit Sharma and the Indian side that played in that game. Now he's really putting his hand up.
Here he is, Rohit, working that one off his pads. He's got time for a single as Athanaze fields, so that takes him on to 99. India 225 without loss here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, and just staying with that conversation with Rohit Sharma, this innings, of course, will consolidate his position at the top of the innings as a test opener. Of course, his partnership as well, unmatched in test match cricket against the West Indies, going past Wasim Jaffer and Virender Sehwag. That opening partnership they produced back in 2006. So a significant landmark, a significant statement as India starts this new cycle of the World Test Championship.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing we probably we have mentioned a few times on here. I mean Jaiswal's come into the side not to replace an opener. He's actually come into the side to replace, you know, an outstanding player in Cheteshwar Pujara, which is part of the, I guess, their strategy moving into this cycle. Here's Athanaze to Rohit, is on 99. Athanaze has got a huge gap at cover, so Rohit basically just has to tap it here and scamper through for a single, but let's see how he goes about it. Here's Athanaze to Rohit. He's working it into the leg side, but Roach is there and there's no run.
What is not helpful for the West Indies is that illness that we're hearing from Rakeem Cornwall. He's off the field. Jason Holder as well has left the field.
Here's Athanaze to Rohit, and he pushes that into the covers. It's racing out towards the boundary, jogs through for one, comes back for a second, and now he's going to come back for a third, and he's just walking slowly up there to the other end, and he casually raises his bat to the crowd. A little bit different to the celebration by Jaiswal, but Rohit's done it 9 times before. Hug from his opening partner, and yeah, well played Rohit Sharma. 103 not out.
10 test match century for him, his second away from India. First in the Caribbean for Rohit Sharma, following his opening partner, Yashasvi Jaiswal. It's been an innings of composure, one that was relatively watchful, recognizing the conditions and how challenging those elements have been. He's been able to show his true quality. His defense quite solid. He's been selective with his stroke play, so a fabulous innings from the captain.
Here's Athanaze, and Rohit's, I think he's going to be given here, is he? Joshua De Silva took the ball cleanly. West Indies are appealing. And what's going to happen here? Are they going to go to DRS? Yes, they are. Craig Brathwaite signals to the umpire Goff to call for the review. So Athanaze coming round the wicket to Rohit there. He was prodding forward. The ball looped up in the air on the leg side. It was gloved cleanly by Joshua De Silva. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Of course, Darren and I are sitting with our backs to their play, so it was hard for us to see. So we look at the replay here. Oh, he's gloved that. Yep, it's out.
Yep, and it's the first test wicket for Alec Athanaze. Young man from Dominica made a statement with the bat, and now being that bowler to prize and break this partnership, which has been a thorn in the side of the West Indians. And there we see the umpire changing his decision, and it will signal the departure of the Indian captain.
It's just, isn't that amazing, Darren? The ball before, he goes to 100. The next ball, imagine if those two balls had been round the other way.
Well, it's the contrast.
Well, he would have been a hero getting the Indian captain out for 99. But just to explain that again to the listeners, so Rohit came forward, the ball came off his pad onto his glove, and it looped up, and Joshua De Silva wasn't the hardest of catches, but he got there comfortably, and Rohit's on his way. The partnership of 229, Rohit's gone for a beautiful 103 off 21 balls. Oh, sorry, 221 balls. And that brings Shubman Gill to the crease. And of course, he has been an opening batsman for the majority of his career. But he's made it clear that he would like to bat at 3 if the opportunity arises. And Darren, I understand from what I've read, they're kind of thinking that Gill may eventually take the number 4 position from Virat Kohli when he eventually retires.
Yeah, I think that's the thinking. Of course, there's been a lot of discussion about players and their roles in domestic cricket being aligned with that of the Indian national side. So I think Shubman Gill favours batting in the middle, batting at number 3, and it's a work in progress, of course, for him. He's really shown his true class opening the batting. Now he'll have a chance to bat at number 3. It allows for the opportunity for Yashasvi Jaiswal to bat at the top with Rohit Sharma and create that left-hand, right-hand combination, which is so crucial. But all credit to young Alec Afanez. I think we must, also commend the way he has embraced Test match cricket, playing in his very first Test match. He looks very much like he belongs at this level, both with bat and now with ball.
Yeah, and speaking to your colleague on TV, Rinat Kapoor, earlier, he was on commentary with us, and he said when they interviewed him at the end of the day's play, I'll summarise very quickly, he said, look, I'm not interested in white ball cricket. I want to play Test match cricket. That's the game that's why I play. Here he is, Afanez, bowling to Shubman Gill, who's defensively forward. And eventually the noise in the crowd calms down. I mean, it's kind of all the things that could possibly happen. Afanez taking the wicket in front of his home crowd to break the opening partnership. Here is Afanez, and this time Gill is looking to play that one away through the leg side. That's the end of a successful over from Alec Afanez. He has 1 for 20 off 6. It's 229 for 1 here at Windsor Park.
Immerse yourself in colors that come alive. Color by Sissons. Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color. Color by Sissons. Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression. Color by Sissons. Sissons. Express your style with Color by Sissons.
Andy, after Rohit Sharma was out collared short leg after a brilliant 100. So WestIndies have now picked up the first wicket. As I welcome back Andy.
Thank you very much, Lockhart. The silver taking the catch, and Rohit Sharma going for 103. He faced 221 balls, struck 10 fours and 2 sixes, and he featured in that record-breaking partnership with Jaiswal, surpassing the 159 scored by Virender Sehwag and Wasim Jaffer over in St. Lucia in 2006. So good start to his Test career by Jaiswal. He comes on the track, hits it powerfully past the bowler. Roach will get onto the ball. They run 1 and they come back for 2. That's all they'll be. And the Indian total moves on to 231. 231 for the loss of 1. Jaiswal is still there on 112, and Shubman Gill, who has just joined him, yet to get off the mark. Here is Warwick Khan, beats the bats on this occasion, ball going through to the wicket-keeper. So all of a sudden, there's a pep in the step of the West Indies players. Having got that breakthrough, the crowd has come to life, because it was the homeboy Alec Afanez who made the breakthrough. As Jaiswal pushes it on the onside, gets another run. So Jaiswal is so comfortable, he's on 113 and batting quite well. His first Test match. Shubman Gill, on the other hand, has played 15 tests so far, has a highest score of 128. 2 centuries and 4 half centuries already in his young test career.
Well, he's another class act, and he's a Shubman Gill. I mean, we saw he scored the most runs this year in the IPL. He's an elegant batsman. He's done well from the youth level up to, in fact, he played in the same World Cup with Ali Kafana as Shubman Gill.
And when you consider Virat Kohli to come, man who has got 28 centuries, 28 half centuries, as this one is stroked to the chance there, and the return sent in there. The fieldsman there, Hakim Jordan at cover. The Gill was setting up for the run. Jaiswal correctly sent him back, and luckily for him, he had not got past the point of no return.
And we understand that Cornwall hasn't been feeling very well. That's why he's off the field.
Here is Warwican, left arm. Draws the Gill forward, the ball peeling off the outside edge of the bat, triggers down to short third man, and Gill gets off the mark. So Gill is off the mark. India 33 for 1. And the crowd erupted at the fall of Rohit Sharma's wicket, caught by the wicketkeeper De Silva. Goes on the back foot, punches forcefully there Jaiswal, and finds Roach down on the long on boundary. The over comes to an end. Over number 77. 234 for the loss of 1. Jaiswal is on 114 not out. Gill has just joined him, is on 1. And the Indian total 234 for 1, which is the latest score here at Windsor Park.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and coming soon, our Grandstand sub-office. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, your financial security is guaranteed.
Of Warwican at cover, but Ali Kafana's almost getting a second wicket. Ball hit uppishly to cover and falling just short of Warwican at cover. Afanaz draws the batsman, Jaiswal forward in defense there, plays it to the wideish mid-off, or short extra cover if you wish. And Alec Afanaz making things happen from around the wicket. Floats this one, the drive in, beats Warwican at cover, but there is a sweeper. Hakim Jordan coming off the cover boundary, and just one run to Jaiswal. He moves on to 115. Gill 1, and the batsman out. Rohit Sharma going for a well-played 103, 10 fours and 2 sixes in his century, his 10th test century. And the second overseas, as we heard Darren Ganga quite aptly described, but that is the second century outside of India. Here is a delivery to Gill from Afanaz. He turns it to short leg, and the ball rebounds off looks like Chandapal, and there is no addition to the score. India lead by 85 runs. Afanaz from the Botanic Gardens end draws the batsman across his stumps. He strokes it pleasantly, finds the fieldsman at wideish mid-on, Alzari Joseph, and they cross easily for a run. Gill moves on to 2. Jaiswal is 115. On debut, Jaiswal, and still to come another debutant, Ishan Kishan. But before him, we've got to see the Virat Kohli, that man. As the over comes to an end, another delivery from Afanaz, plays quietly on the offside. The end of Afanaz's 7th over, he has figures of 1 for 22, and India 236 for the loss of 1, the latest score here at Windsor Park.
And Ali Kafanaz hasn't done a bad job, Andy. I think the few overs he has bowled, 7 overs? I think he's done an extremely good job. He picked up the only wicket. It's posed some problem for the batsman, and I think he's done a very good job.
Tremendous job by Afanaz in the absence of Cornwall, and I think Captain Brathwaite will be quite pleased because he got Jaiswal to play a false shot, cutting at the ball, and the ball flew off the edge and went past Hakim Jordan, who was at slip. So creating an opportunity there, and certainly has done a wonderful job in the absence of Cornwall. Cornwall bowled 11 overs, none for 22. Afanaz has bowled 7 overs, 1 for 22. And we see Jomel Warrican into his 22nd over, none for 59 so far. Bowls, flat delivery. Batsman Gill pushes, there are 2 slips, silly mid off. Short extra cover, deep cover, squarish cover, short mid-wicket, mid-on and a long off. Bowls the delivery, slightly back of a length delivery. Gill is comfortable pushing it to Alzari Joseph at squarish cover. So great young talent by India on show as he sweeps down to the vacant backward square leg boundary. It goes 4 runs to Gill, vacant area, and sweeping quite well.
Very bad ball. Outside the leg stump, nobody at deep square leg there. Only 2 men on the onside, in fact. So that's a free hit really for Shubman Gill.
And he took advantage of it, just helping it backward of square leg and into the boundary. So bad line there, bowled by Warrican. He has a predominantly offside field, and to bowl a ball on the legs is just giving away free runs. Here is a better directed delivery, comes forward is Gill, pushes it to Captain Brathwaite at short extra cover, and there is no run. So the lead for India now, 90 runs. Here is Warrican, and he's out, pushing forward to a quicker delivery there from Warrican, and he gets the edge, and the catch is taken. India lose their second wicket with the score on 240. Gill goes for 6 runs.
Yes, a very good delivery from Warrican. He turned a bit and they brought the batsman forward, edged it, easily caught that slip. But another wicket for the West Indies. I mean, very good, 2 wickets down now, and that will bring in, yes, you can see turn Andy, very good delivery, well caught there at slip. I think by Ali Kafanaz again, well caught. And we
Through mentorship and guidance, let us provide support to those who may feel lost or tempted by the wrong path. Remember, conflict resolution is key. Instead of resorting to violence, let us learn to communicate effectively, to listen, and to find common ground. Together, we can create a Grenada where our dreams can flourish and our talents can shine. This message was brought to you by the New National Party, your voice in shaping the future of Grenada.
And as I say, it's not really good for the West Indies having to bat tomorrow, but I mean, it's good that the Warrican could get that wicket. It was a very good delivery, brought the batsman forward, Shubman Gill, easily caught that slip by Ali Kafanaz.
I was just about to say that he was pushing the ball too much too flat. Then he looped this one, forced Gill to push forward, and Afanaz took a sharp catch there at slip. And Afanaz is in the game, and the crowd is in support of Afanaz. They have come alive here at Windsor Park.
Good debut. He batted well yesterday. He's been bowling well. Just took a good catch. So a very good debut so far for Ali Kafanaz.
Here is Warrican. Bowls to Kohli. Kohli struck on the pad. A loud appeal. The umpire remains unmoved. Umpire Kettlebrough. They will think of a review And Warwick Khan is saying, take it, skipper. And what has he done? I think they will go for it. Rocket.
Well, the captain has a signal. I think signaling now that they're taking the review. Kohli pushed forward. They were not so sure. So when you're not so sure, and it always puts doubts. But we'll soon find out whether Kohli is out LBW. I've seen him been out like that a few times in Test cricket, pushing forward to spinners. I've seen him many times get out to that. So we'll soon watch and find out what's happening when we look at the replay to see Virat Kohli pushing forward. Oh, clearly not out. It doesn't look out to me, Andy. I mean, you look at it.
Where is it pitched, Rocket? Was it pitched in line or was
it? It pitched in line, but might be going down leg side. If anything, at umpire's call, but might be going down leg side.
But we can almost see the free stumps. Let's
watch
the real.
Going down leg side. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, clearly missing. Yeah, clearly missing. Bad review.
Well, with things not going their way, they had to try something.
And they only left with one review now, huh? Only left with one. They lost one early on.
Yeah, and you've got to take a review on the great Kohli. If you could get Kohli out for naught.
Yeah, but don't waste it. If you're not sure, don't waste it.
Well, I think it was uncertainty which caused them to take it. Say, let's chance it. And maybe they were thinking at least if it was umpire's call, they would not have lost the review. But as you have it, they have lost the review. And the over has come to an end in all the excitement. 79 overs completed. India 240 for the loss of 2. And we're about to see Afanaz bowling to Jaiswal. Here he is from around the wicket. Bowls the delivery which the batsman forces down to long off and gets an easy run. One more to Jaiswal. He moves to 116. The lead for India keeps on climbing. The West Indies won't want it to go to too many runs. A lead of 91 runs on first innings.
So it's already a lot, and the 91 runs in any form of cricket is a reasonable lead on a pitch which is turning and bouncing.
And they're to contend with Ashwin and Jadeja in the second innings. Here is a delivery from Afanaz. The batsman Kohli plays to mid-wicket, and there is no run. Bright, sunny afternoon. The crowd is buoyant. They're feeling good after their homeboy has been involved in getting among the action, into the action, I should say. He got the wicket, made the breakthrough, and had Gill caught at slip. There is a delivery, he's turning it, and Jordan, maybe not too familiar in the slip position. He's there at the leg slip, flicking the ball, Kohli, and the ball going past the leg slip, and you could see the ooze and hear the oohs and the ahs from the West Indian players.
But not very often you see a fast bowler feeling at leg slip and or slip, so a bit strange that Jordan feeling at leg slip.
Here is Afanaz. Bowls, the batsman cuts, and well done by Roach, moving to his right at backward point. He has fielded quite well in that position so far. He has saved quite a few runs fielding at that position. Here is Afanaz once again. Bowls, the batsman is driving to the man there at mid-on. Comes across to his right. The over comes to an end. Afanaz completes his 8th over. Figures of 1 for 24. 80 overs completed. So the new ball will be available. The Indians, they lead by 92 runs. The latest score here at Windsor Park. India 242 for the loss of 2.
Gittins Home and Garden Center, your main pillar for agricultural supplies in Grenada. We supply fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings and nursery supplies, diesel water pumps, walk-behind tillers, organic and environmentally friendly agricultural inputs. We're serving you from 2 locations at Birch Grove and booth 34 at the Vendors Market in Grenville. Cost-effective agricultural solutions for all your needs. Visit Gittins Home and Garden Center for the best in everything agriculture. Call us on 409-2175 or 438-4337. Gittins Home and Garden Center, from your farm to your backyard.
Is a delivery played to mid-on, holder is in the way, and there is no run. So the second new ball is due now, and we may see it. I'm not too sure if Brathwaite would want to take a new ball with Afanaz and Warrican, as Warrican bowls another delivery to Cooley. Cooley plays it back along the track. So Cooley on one. Getting through it over rather quickly. This one, Cooley plays once again to mid-on. Holder is there and there is no run. So Cooley, a watchful start. Sees his partner Jaiswal, who has made his debut on 116 years. Here is Warrican, floats this one. He comes forward in the typical Cooley fashion, just working it, using his wrist there and getting 2 runs quite easily. Kind of wristy player. He watches the ball onto the face of the bat, and at the last moment he uses his wrist and flicks the ball, Lockhart.
Yeah, that's a class player. I mean, class player. King Coley, as they call, as he's more popularly known, King Coley.
Final delivery of the 23rd over of Warrican. Ball draws the batsman forward again. Wrongly directed the delivery on the line of the leg stump. Cooley turns it to backward square, gets a run. He's on 4. Jaiswal is on 116. It's tea here at Windsor Park on day 2. India 245 for the loss of 2. Jaiswal is 116 not out, and Virat Kohli is on 4 not out. 245 for the loss of 2. 81 overs having been completed.
Yes, and the Indians obviously in a strong position in this session. They made 99 runs in this session, and we saw this brilliant 100 from young Jaiswal, the debutant, the captain himself, Rohit Sharma, a fine 100 as well. We saw Alik Afanaz picking up his first test wicket on his debut. He's bowled very well, in fact. I mean, if Rakim Khan was on the field, maybe you would not have seen him bowling so many overs. But I think he's done very well for his captain. And as we say, India in a strong position. They lead by almost 100 runs. And after tea, it's going to be very interesting whether the West Indian captain, Greg Brathwaite, will take the second new ball.
Well, it will be interesting to see what happens after tea. But I can tell you at tea, India 245 for the loss of 2 of 81 overs. Jaiswal is not out on 116. Kohli is not out on 4. The batsmen are out so far. Rohit Sharma caught the silver, bowled Afanaz for 103. He struck 10 fours and 2 sixes. And featured in a 229-run partnership, a record partnership for India against the West Indies in the West Indies. And then we saw Shubman Gill caught by Afanaz at slip off the bowling of Warrican for 6. The score was then 240. So India go to tea 245 for 2. Jaiswal is not out on 116. Kohli not out on 4. Jaiswal, his 100 came off 215 balls and he struck 11 fours. So until it's time to rejoin us after tea, we advise you and request that you stay in tune as we take the tea break.
This is Real 91.9, 91.5 at www.therealfmgrenada.com. Our time has now moved on to 15 minutes before the 3 o'clock hour. Tea time at Windsor Park inside of Dominica, where the West Indies having, their turn of the crease yielded them 150 runs, and that was yesterday. And India resumed today, and they are on 245 for 2. The debutant, Athanase, getting his first test wicket, and that was pretty nice, pretty decent. In your first test cricket wicket on your home soil. Congratulations to him. So we'll be rejoining commentators for Cricket After Tea, the final session on the second day. And that should be in approximately 13 and a half minutes time. This is Real 91.9, 91.5, www.therealfmgrenada.com.